Concerning the protection of civilian in the region, well, not only in the region and overall, I think we need to think about the human security perspectives, so-called freedom from fear and freedom from want. Although I do believe the East Asia or South Asia's concern is more driven by freedom from the want part, those freedom from want is very much closely and complicatedly related to the freedom from fear as well. So for that, I think we need some comprehensive approaches to the protection of civilians is required, at least in 3 ways. The first is legal approaches. So like UN and international community have to come up with like a concrete and comprehensive international legal approaches to protect those peoples. Particularly for women, children, and refugee migrant issue. And number 2, although we have like a well-established international legal approaches or measures, unless that is taken by government, it is very hard, sovereign government, it is very hard to making an effective outcome. So that for that, I think political will of the individual government is very important to think the people first than anything else. So legal and government part is very important to address the problem of the civilian victims. And my third component will be the role of the civil society, where not only think tank or epistemic community roles to make some kind of suggestions or policy recommendations, but it's also important to educate grassroots people for themselves to protect themselves is also very important. So international legal and governmental and the civil society role has to be taken together to address the protection of the civilian issue. Well, answer is yes and no. No, because there are a lot of other tragedies were there, including Darfur and other places. But yes, because I think obviously, although a lot of criticisms are there, we didn't learn much lessons from the previous cases. But in my opinion, those lessons at least give policy makers and people to think about the tragedy and how to prevent or respond to those tragedy in timely manner. But problem is once again how the government concerned or government concern can do something for that. So it's always a problem with international legal, the moral ethics and measures on one hand, and on the other hand there are sovereign rights. So how we can reconcile those international humanitarian law or measures with like a sovereign state's right and obligation. I think this is a big challenge, but unless we found some balanced solution between them, it is very hard to take a lesson from the previous tragedy or cases. You know, North Korean refugees are now in limbo, not only constrained by the legal definition, a constraint, because they are not officially recognized as a refugee because they are not political refugees, but also by the government, like a Chinese or North Korean government's response to those people who so-called illegally cross the border, right? Well, probably that's not a tragedy like Rwanda or Darfur yet. But just in case those North Korean refugee cases becoming in the event of the mass defections, I think how we can protect those people will be the big problems in the region, where we need some international collective actions based on the lessons from the previous tragedy.